Welcome to the Growth Mindset Center YouTube. Please take a moment of your precious time and generosity to click the subscribe button, comment. Thank you very much. Please listen to the next great content. Ever wonder why don't block him, don't beg? Just do this and watch what happens. Speech feels more relevant the older and wiser we grow. What if the truth inside don't block him, don't beg? Just do this and watch what happens. Speech is what you've needed all along. This isn't just advice, it's a wake-up call to realign your power, peace, and priorities. You don't have to block him, you don't have to beg him, and you surely don't have to lose yourself just to prove your worth. Listen to me. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is nothing at all. Because silence, when it's coming from a place of strength, not spite, is louder than any scream, any text, any emotional outburst. When you stop reacting, you stop participating in the cycle that's been draining you. You see, the enemy doesn't always need to destroy you. Sometimes he just needs to distract you. And what better way to do it than to keep you tangled in back and forth arguments, desperate explanations, and endless overthinking. But when you get quiet, something shifts. When you stop responding to the chaos, you start creating peace. That silence is not weakness, it's wisdom, it's restraint. It's the choice to preserve your dignity over proving your point. So many of you think closure is about having the last conversation. No real closure happens when you decide in your spirit, this no longer deserves my energy. And that decision doesn't need to be broadcast. You don't need to block him. You don't need to beg him to understand you. Just be still. Be silent. Let the absence speak louder than your explanations ever could. There's a strength that comes in knowing who you are and not needing to explain that to someone who failed to see it. That's when silence becomes your armor. You don't defend yourself anymore. You don't chase anymore. You don't argue anymore. You just let the quiet speak on your behalf. I know what it's like when your heart wants to reach out. When you want to send that message, make that call, post that story, just to get a reaction. But let me tell you something. Reaction is not the same as respect, and attention is not the same as affection. If someone needs to be reminded constantly of your worth, then they're not ready to receive your kind of love. And that's not your fault. We think if we say the right thing or express our pain the right way, maybe, just maybe, they'll finally see us. But you don't need to be seen by them. You need to be seen by God. He already knows the weight of your silence. He knows the nights you wanted to reach out and didn't. He knows the tears you cried in secret while you smiled in public. He knows the strength it takes to hold your peace when everything in you wants to break. And I came to tell you today, that kind of silence, it moves heaven. That kind of silence opens doors. That kind of silence stirs conviction because when someone expects a reaction and gets peace instead, it forces them to confront what they've lost. And the best part, you didn't have to yell. You didn't have to fight. You didn't have to beg. You just let your absence echo louder than your presence ever did. Don't think for a second that silence isn't powerful. It is a holy hush. It is a stillness that says, I trust God to speak for me. It's the confidence that says, my value doesn't decrease just because someone couldn't see it. And let me tell you, when you stop showing up where you're not valued, when you stop explaining your worth to people who treat you like an option, the whole atmosphere changes. So don't block him out of bitterness. Don't beg him out of desperation. Just stand still in your truth. Don't post, don't text, don't chase. Just do this. Hold your silence. Watch what happens. Because when you carry yourself with quiet confidence, the same people who thought they could take you for granted will be the ones replaying the silence you left behind. You've spent enough time thinking about him, enough time analyzing every message, replaying every conversation, wondering what went wrong, what you could have done better, what made him pull away. But let me tell you something that might just free you. It's not always about what you did or didn't do. Sometimes people walk away not because you weren't enough, but because they were never ready for someone like you. And the moment you realize that something inside of you shifts, that's when you stop asking why he changed and you start asking why you stopped showing up for yourself. You stop chasing answers from someone who was never your source, and you start reconnecting with the woman you used to be before. You started bending, shrinking, and compromising just to keep someone who couldn't even handle your life. There is power in shifting the focus, because when your eyes are on him, your spirit is drained. But when your eyes turn back to God and to yourself, healing begins. You can't be whole while your mind is still wrapped around someone who broke you. You've got to let go of what distracted you and pick up what develops you. Start feeding your purpose instead of feeding your pain. You see, when you shift the focus, you start to remember who you are. You remember the woman who had dreams before she got distracted. The woman who was confident before she started begging for reassurance. The woman who used to smile from the inside out, not because of a man, but because she was aligned with her purpose. That woman is still in you. She's just been buried under the weight of what you were hoping he would become. But hear me, his inability to value you does not mean you are without value. You were never meant to revolve around his inconsistency. You were created to rise in your calling, to walk in grace, to stand in peace. And you can't do that if you're still checking your phone, hoping he finally sees your worth. What if I told you the breakthrough you've been praying for will only come once you stop looking at him and start looking within? There is a glow that returns to a woman when she stops obsessing over someone else's behavior and starts nurturing her soul. That's when your skin clears up, your mind sharpens, your energy gets lighter. Why? Because you've stopped leaking your power. You've stopped begging for love and started becoming it. You've stopped worrying about whether he's thinking of you and started falling in love with the woman God has always been shaping in you. This isn't about revenge. It's not about showing him what he lost. It's about finally honoring what God gave you. Your heart, your time, your presence. That's sacred. And when you treat it like it's sacred, others will have no choice but to do the same or get out of the way. You don't have to make noise. You don't have to announce your healing. Just start moving different. Start investing in your peace like it's priceless, because it is. Start speaking to yourself with kindness. Start walking with your head high. Not because you want him to notice, but because you remembered who you are. Let the world adjust to your new standard. And if he comes back, let your healed heart decide, not your lonely one. Because when you shift the focus and find wholeness in your own reflection, you don't just take anyone back out of habit or history. You wait for someone who mirrors the peace you fought so hard to find. You've been giving him your attention for too long. Now it's your turn. It's time to fall back in love with you. Time to sit with your own soul. Time to show up for yourself like you showed up for him. And when you do that, when you truly shift the focus, you won't need to chase anything. What's meant for you will recognize you. What's right for you will feel like peace. You're not supposed to carry it all. You were never meant to fix what's broken in someone else, especially when they don't want to be whole. I know you tried. I know you prayed, cried, waited, and held on longer than you should have. You gave your best, your heart, your time, but still, it wasn't enough to change him. And here's what I need you to hear today. That was never your job in the first place. You were not created to be anyone's savior. That's not your weight to bear. Your role was never to hold someone together who keeps choosing to fall apart. Some things, some people, you just have to put in God's hands. Because no matter how much you love them, you can't change them. No matter how many chances you give, you can't force them to grow. That's between them and God. Sometimes the most spiritual thing you can do is let go, and that's hard when your heart is involved. When your soul feels tied to someone who keeps hurting you with their silence, with their inconsistency, with their inability to love you the way you deserve. But when you release what you were never meant to carry, something sacred happens. God picks it up. See, there's peace that comes when you stop trying to control every outcome. There's freedom and surrender. There's healing and trusting that even if it didn't go the way you wanted, it's still going according to plan, His plan. And that plan doesn't require begging. It doesn't require fixing. It just requires faith. I know it feels like walking away means losing. But sometimes walking away is actually winning. It's you choosing peace over chaos. It's you choosing obedience over emotional attachment. It's you saying, God, I trust you more than I trust this situation, because He sees what you can't. He hears conversations you'll never hear. He knows the truth behind the mask, and He will never allow what's meant for you to slip away. Not when you're aligned with Him. Some of you are losing sleep over someone God has already removed from your future. You're stressing about silence from a person who was only meant to be a lesson, not a lifetime. And you're holding on not because they're treating you right, but because you're afraid of starting over. But what if starting over is exactly what God wants? What if this ending is just the doorway to your healing? You've got to get to the point where you stop reacting and start releasing. Don't block Him out of frustration. Don't beg Him out of fear. Just say, God, I don't know what's next, but I trust you with what's now. Say, I can't do this anymore on my own. I'm tired. I'm broken. I've done all I could. Now I give it to you. That prayer, whispered through tears, has more power than any emotional outburst ever will. When you let God handle what you can't, you stop living in confusion. You stop questioning your worth every time someone leaves. You stop rehearsing the past, trying to change the ending. You start trusting that your story isn't over. It's just turning a page. And here's the beauty. When you give it to God, you stop bleeding for people who never came to heal you. You stop overextending yourself for someone who is never equipped to love you right. You stop carrying dead weight and start walking lighter. Because where God is leading you, you can't take broken attachments. You can't carry bitterness. You can't bring baggage into a blessing. So today, don't force it. Don't chase it. Don't manipulate the outcome. Just trust Him. Trust that He's already ahead of you. Trust that He's preparing what you haven't seen. Trust that what feels like rejection is really His protection. And trust that the pain you're feeling now will one day make sense when you're standing in the middle of peace you didn't have to beg for. Healing doesn't happen in the spotlight. It happens in the shadows, in the quiet, in the space between who you were and who you're becoming. You don't need to announce it. You don't have to post about it. You don't need to let Him know you're moving on. Just do it. Just heal privately, quietly, and deeply. Let your silence speak. Let your growth do the talking. Because when you heal in secret, your comeback will speak volumes. See, the world teaches us that we need to be seen to be significant. That if people don't know we're doing better, it doesn't count. But God does His best work in the unseen places. Think about it. Seeds don't grow in the light. They grow underground, in the dark, in the soil no one sees. And that's where your healing is happening. Not on the surface, but deep in your soul. That's where the roots of your strength are forming. You've been through enough. Enough heartbreak, enough confusion, enough nights staring at the ceiling wondering why someone who said they cared could disappear like you were nothing. But listen to me. You are not nothing. You are a masterpiece under construction. And what God is building in you right now doesn't need an audience. It needs time. It needs patience. It needs protection. Not everyone deserves access to your healing process. Sometimes we make the mistake of trying to prove to the one who hurt us that we're okay. We dress it up, post the smiles, force the glow just to get noticed. But true healing doesn't seek validation. It finds peace. You don't heal just to be seen. You heal to be free. Free from the pattern, free from the pull, free from the pain that had you begging for crumbs when God was trying to give you a banquet. Don't let the silence fool you. It's not empty. It's sacred. It's where you find your voice again. It's where you remember your worth without needing it confirmed by anyone else. It's where you stop performing and start becoming. And let me tell you, when you start becoming whole again, it's not loud, it's not flashy, it's intentional. You wake up one morning and realize the anxiety is a little quieter. The memories sting a little less. The air feels lighter. That's healing. And when he circles back, and trust me, he will, you won't have to prove anything. You won't need to explain the silence, the distance, the shift. Because by then you'll be so rooted in peace that his confusion won't even move you. You'll look back and thank God that he took you through the fire, not to burn you, but to refine you, to remind you that your value was never based on who stayed. Your worth was never attached to who left. You're not healing for revenge. You're healing for alignment, for clarity, for the future God has prepared for you. And that future doesn't require you to hold on to what broke you. It requires you to release it, to forgive, to grow, to become. And that journey, my friends, starts in the quiet. So don't worry if they don't see you right now. Don't rush to update your story. Don't feel the need to prove that you're doing fine. Just breathe. Just heal. Just rise in silence. Let God restore you in private, so when he reveals you, there's no doubt that it was him who did the work. You don't need to block him. You don't need to beg him. Just heal in the stillness. Grow in the silence and watch what happens. There comes a time when you stop explaining yourself. You stop justifying why you love so hard, why you stayed so long, why you cared so deeply for someone who couldn't see the treasure standing right in front of them. There's a point in your journey where you stop looking back. Not because you've forgotten, but because you finally understand your future is not behind you. See, when someone chooses to walk away from you, let them. When they stop calling, stop caring, stop showing up, don't chase them. That silence isn't just an absence, it's an answer. And sometimes God allows their silence to protect you from what your heart wasn't ready to release on its own. You may not realize it now, but the very thing you thought was breaking you may be what's saving you. You have to let them miss you. Let them sit with their decision. Let them feel the weight of your absence. Because as long as you keep reaching out, explaining, checking in, trying to prove your worth, you're robbing them of the experience of realizing what they had. People don't miss what they never lose. Sometimes your silence is the loudest sermon they'll ever hear. And here's the truth. When you stop showing up for people who keep disappointing you, that absence starts to echo. That space you once filled with your love, your patience, your time, it starts to feel like a loss. But it's not your loss, it's theirs. And when you step back, you create the distance they need to understand what they took for granted. But don't wait around for them to come to their senses. Don't put your life on pause, hoping they'll wake up and realize your worth. Your value was never supposed to be proven. It was meant to be recognized. And if they couldn't see it, that's not your burden to carry. That's their blind spot, not your failure. You are not hard to love. You are not too much. You are not impossible. You are not unworthy. You're simply too valuable to be handled casually. And when someone treats you like you're replaceable, that's a reflection of their capacity, not your identity. So this is your moment. This is where you draw the line. You stop waiting for closure because peace isn't found in answers. It's found in release. You stop playing small so someone else can feel big. You stop making excuses for behavior that continues to disrespect your boundaries. You stop showing up where you're no longer appreciated, and you start showing up for yourself. Let them miss the sound of your voice, the light in your presence, the strength of your loyalty. Let them sit in the quiet and wonder how they fumbled someone who would have walked through fire for them. Let them feel the distance. But you keep moving, keep growing, keep becoming the woman God created you to be. Because when you stop trying to control how they see you, and you start focusing on how He sees you, everything changes. You begin to walk different. You begin to talk different. You begin to carry yourself with a quiet confidence that doesn't need validation because you've already been affirmed by the one who never left your side. And when they do come back, and often they will, you won't have to prove anything. Your growth will be undeniable. Your peace will be unshakable. And your heart will be so guarded by grace that not everyone who once had access will be allowed in again. Let them miss you not to hurt them, but to heal you. Let them sit with the consequences of their actions while you sit in the presence of the one who knows exactly how to restore what was broken. Because when you stop chasing and start trusting, you don't just get over it, you rise above it. Let them miss you and just watch what happens. It's not just something to hear, it's something to live, apply, and become. Thank you for listening, and subscribe, comment on the channel,